Number two, societal interaction. Collaborative learning and societal interaction play a critical role in constructing knowledge. Interacting with others help in negotiating meaning and gaining diverse perspectives. I remember when I was a class teacher, a subject teacher, when I was teaching, I taught some students, I taught a group of students a topic in construction, technical drawing. Only few of them understood what I taught them. So I now told one of the students to come and explain. While he was explaining in the class, the boy used a kind of term, or used some terms that made those students to understand faster than when I was teaching them. All I needed to do was to play along with them in order for me to get used to their style, which is needed for them to learn better, and not only the teacher fostering his own knowledge on the students. Discovering learning. You must make the learning to be so attractive in such a way that the students themselves will understand and discover those things that they are to learn and how to provide solutions to challenges that they are facing. Reflection, which has to do with evaluate, encouraging learners to reflect on their experiences, insights, and misconceptions, help in refining their understanding and constructing new knowledge. Multiple perspectives, acknowledging that there can be multiple valid interpretations of information and encouraging learners to consider diverse viewpoints. Now, this will allow them, as a teacher, if you ask a student what is motion, the definition you will give, if you allow your students to first give their own definition, you will notice that there are many ways in which these students will give you the definition of motion. And that will allow them to see that it is not only in one direction that learning can come from. Learning can come from different areas of life, but what is most important is how they are able to sieve the information and digest it into their system in order for them to solve problems that they are facing. And of course, zone of proximal development. This concept, introduced by Lev Vygotsky, refers to the difference between what a learner can do without help and what can be achieved with guidance and support from a more knowledgeable individual. This is talking about a learner you are to teach a student a particular thing, like an example, you want to teach the students how to construct a polygon. You as a teacher, you have given them idea on how or the way they can construct it. This learner as well must be able to, after they have digested your own system, they should be able to produce another way of drawing polygon that will make them to have been able to perfect and master what you have taught them in order for them to solve certain problems by themselves. Although we have exception to that in mathematics, because there are rules and regulations that must be followed, likewise in physics and chemistry. All these you must be able to explain to them what they are to know and how they are to apply it when they are to apply it. Exploring educational philosophies, constructivist approach into our Nigerian school is a great task. It has to do with the school administrator, and it has also to do with the teacher who will go to class to teach, as well as the learners who will be the one receiving the whole benefits at the end of it, and the glory goes to God Almighty and to the school when they come back with good success. So Nigeria schools, there are some schools that have been into this by allowing the students-centered teaching method. They allow the students to participate. They allow the students to be the one to lead the teaching and learning process. They allow the students to be the one that through by the teacher introduces the topic, then the student begins to discuss about it. And that will bring about providing solution to problems that they are facing by themselves, which the teacher will guide them, and the teacher as well will learn from this. By embracing the constructivist approach, Nigerian schools can foster a student-centered learning environment that empowers students to take ownership of their education. This approach encourages students to develop a deeper understanding of concepts and enhances their ability to apply knowledge in real-life situations. Benefits of constructivist approach. I have about 15, but because of time, I will only give you 4, because all has to do with these 4. Enhancement of creativity and innovation. The moment you allow the practice of constructivist approach in your school as a school administrator, before you know what is happening, it is not only the idea of the subject teacher that the students will have. They will also be able to produce certain things. And this method is what is being used. Also, in some countries like China, you will be able to see that their students, they produce. But here in Nigeria, we have curriculum, we have syllabuses, and we have a scheme of works being developed from all this. And our students are still not being able to produce. It is because we are not embracing this constructivist approach that will give them the ability to think about creating and bringing about new things into existence. 2, active engagement and participation of students. This has to do with you, class teacher. When you enter your classroom, how do you teach your students? Do you allow them to take the lead? Do you allow them to define the concepts? Do you allow them to give examples? And when they make mistakes, how do you correct them? Because if they cannot participate in the class, you won't be able to know those who are slow learners, and they will not be able to match up with those who are fast learners. The moment you create this enabling environment for them to be engaged and participate in the topic you are teaching, all of them will be part and parcel of the learning process. 3, development of critical thinking and problem-solving skills. I remember when Dr. Adefisai was teaching us this many years ago. It's part of what will bring about creativity. When you are able to employ critical thinking and problem-solving skills, it is the end result will be that your students will be creative and they will be innovative in whatever they do. Social interaction and collaboration among students. Teachers, find a way to make your students to relate together. Form a group for them, let them have topics to discuss, and let them be able to solve certain problems. Create the idea that will bring about a problem-solving approach in order for them to solve the problem. Adapting this constructivism to Nigerian educational space, I've discussed it earlier, but I believe that this will make our country better if we adopt and we are making use of it correctly. Challenges and solutions. Teachers training and professional development. It is said, and we all know, that the day you stop to learn is the day you stop growing. You will know in your school as school administrator, if new ideas are to be embraced by a particular teacher and the teacher is rejecting, such a teacher can no longer develop. Try as much as possible to organize seminars and workshops and make your teachers to develop from one old level that they have into a new way of teaching, so that they will be able to train your students the new skills. Let me use this as an example for you to know. There was a time I studied technology education, so you will see that most of my examples have been towards that. Now, if you are a student who studied automobile and you are taught with manual gear, these days, such a teacher may not function anymore because we are now on automatic. In fact, we even have auxiliary gear. If you are only on manual gear, you will see that such a teacher cannot function. The only thing that the teacher will be teaching the student will be archaic method that will not bring new ideas to teaching. So school owners, you must ensure that you train your teachers to be able to get to the level of giving the new knowledge to their students that will propel them into solving problems by themselves. Number two, lack of resources and infrastructure. School owners, you must ensure that you buy enough infrastructure and provide resources that will make the teachers to teach these students with modern equipment. In one of our fundamental principles in technology education, the very first one says the environment in which the student is taught must be the environment in which that student, when he finishes his education, will work. So if you are teaching or you don't have a modern equipment in your school that the teachers can make use of, if it is still the old method of teaching, then you will see that by the time they produce the students, they may not be able to match up with their colleagues out there. And of course, resistance to change in traditional educational practices. I have also mentioned that when I was explaining number one. There are some, it is their old way and they don't want to change. You need to understand such teachers and try to talk to them so that your school can move on. And number four, policy reforms and support from educational institutions and governments. This, I believe, if we make use of these four things that I've mentioned, we will be able to solve problems that we may encounter in a constructivist approach of education. In conclusion, all that has to do with constructivism approach or constructivist approach is being able to allow your students or your learners to think about that problem that they are facing or about a situation that they are handling and provide solution by themselves while they are being guided by their teacher. God bless you.